Georgia is being threatened by an exotic invasive grass called Cogongrass. Cogongrass is an aggressive invader of natural and disturbed areas throughout the southeast. It grows in most soils except those permanently wet, but it will tolerate flooding, it is salt tolerant, and will grow in full sun to shaded conditions. Cogongrass commonly invades forests, pastures, and old fields, utility rights-of-way, roadsides, and ditches where it suppresses and eliminates native vegetation, tree seedling regeneration, degrades wildlife habitat and forage quality, and reduces overall ecological diversity. This grass reproduces and spreads by rhizome and seed production and forms dense mats of leaves that are extremely flammable, creating hazardous prescribed burning and wildfire conditions. Once it has become established, it is difficult to control due to the extensive root system that must be eliminated for successful eradication. Cogongrass has become a major problem for landowners, land managers, foresters, and agencies managing lands and roadsides since its accidental introduction into the South in 1911 near Grand Bay, Alabama. That accidental introduction was followed in the 1930s by several trials in Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida to evaluate its forage potential and suitability for erosion control use. A high silica content in the leaves made it unsuitable for forage, and its aggressive growth made it too difficult to contain for erosion stabilization use. Since its initial introduction, Cogongrass has steadily spread across the southern states. Equipment used for road maintenance, logging, tree planting, and other management activities aided the spread by moving seeds and rhizomes from infested sites. Cogongrass is also moved in soil, mulch, and hay contaminated with seeds or rhizomes. Today, conservative estimates put the area infested in Alabama, Mississippi, and Florida between 500,000 to 1 million acres. Regionally, Cogongrass is found in southern and central Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida, with a few scattered infestations in Texas, South Carolina, and Georgia. In Georgia, infestations are primarily found in the southern and southwestern part of the state, but it is capable of growing throughout the state. In January 2011, there were just over 470 Cogongrass sites in 44 counties across Georgia. Fortunately, these infestations are small, averaging less than 1/4 acre in size, with the total known infestations in Georgia occupying just over 140 acres. Cogongrass has been known to exist in our state since the early 1990s when USDA personnel located and began treating several small infestations in South Georgia. As awareness of the problems posed by Cogongrass in the surrounding states were realized, the Georgia Forestry Commission, along with other state and private agencies, formed the Georgia Cogongrass Task Force in 2004 in a collective effort to detect and eradicate this plant from our state. A statewide educational program was launched aimed at teaching landowners, foresters, resource managers, highway departments, and the general public how to identify Cogongrass and to report suspected infestations to the Commission. The Georgia Forestry Commission, with support from the U.S. Forest Service, provides a chemical eradication program at no expense to the landowner, and today all of the confirmed Cogongrass infestations in Georgia have been treated. The first step towards eradicating Cogongrass is learning to identify it. The most recognizable feature of Cogongrass is the fluffy white seed heads produced in the spring from March to June. But Cogongrass may occasionally bloom at other times of the year following mowing, fire, herbicide applications, or other disturbances. The normal spring flowering pattern aids in detection as most other common grasses don't flower until later in the summer after Cogongrass. Seed heads range from 2 to 8 inches in length and produce up to 3,000 seeds each. It takes 4 to 6 weeks from the start of flowering to seed maturation. When mature, each seed has silky white hairs, much like dandelion seed, that allow it to spread with the wind. Viable seeds germinate on bare ground, often on recently disturbed sites. Seed viability is variable, with little viable seed produced if the infestation is started vegetatively from rhizomes. Seed samples taken from Cogongrass infestations in Georgia indicate that little viable seed, with a few exceptions, is being produced at this time. Cogongrass displaces native vegetation as it quickly forms dense circular patches. Its yellowish-green color is a characteristic of new growth in the spring, particularly following fire or mowing to remove older thatch. In the fall, the leaves take on a reddish color and will brown up following a hard frost or freeze. But in protected shaded areas, it can stay green year-round. Plants range in height from 1 to 5 feet tall, and in late summer the taller leaves lean over. The leaves look as if they are growing directly from the soil, but short stems are present. These stems have a few short hairs at the node or the point where the leaf arises, but otherwise the plant is hairless. Leaves are 1/2 to 1 inch wide and have a white off-center midrib, which is also common in other grasses. The leaf margins have fine saw-like serrations that are sharp to the touch. And this rough margin, which can cut the tongue of grazing animals, and its high silica content make Cogon grass useless as a forage crop. The most distinctive feature of Cogon grass is its root system of sharp, pointed, scaly rhizomes that form a dense root mat in the upper 8 inches of the soil, and can represent up to 80% of the plant's total biomass. So what you see above ground is often only the tip of the iceberg. The massive root system makes it a highly efficient competitor that overwhelms and displaces roots of native grasses, forbs, seedlings, and shrubs. Rhizomes are white, segmented, and covered with onion skin-like scales. Sharp-pointed rhizome tips can pierce the roots of other plants, and as they emerge above ground to form new plants, they are sharp enough to pierce unprotected feet and hands. Rhizomes can grow up to 10 feet a year from an established plant, and if broken or disturbed, each rhizome segment can give rise to a new plant. Together, all of these characteristics are used to identify Cogon grass. If you think you've seen this invader, contact your local Georgia Forestry Commission office, extension office, or call 1-800-GA-TREES to report the location. A Georgia Forestry Commission forester will visit the site and determine if it is Cogon grass, and make arrangements to treat all confirmed infestations at no cost to the landowner. Cogon grass invades a wide range of non-cultivated habitats including rights-of-way, forests, pastures, waste areas, and recently disturbed sites in road construction areas, industrial lands, and mechanically site-prepared forest land. As a landowner or land manager, it is important to understand the ways Cogon grass can arrive on your land. It can spread by wind-blown seed from established infestations, or by seeds and rhizomes carried on equipment or in contaminated soil and gravel or mulch that may be used on your property. Cogon grass has not been a problem in row crop agriculture where annual tillage is practiced, but it could become established in reduced tillage systems and pastures and hayfields. Once Cogon grass gains a foothold in an area, it's just a matter of time before it spreads from the infested site. Therefore, it is very important to recognize and eliminate Cogon grass before it spreads and understand the ways to prevent its movement and introduction. Cogon grass is a federal noxious weed, and it is illegal to bring any species or variety of Cogon grass into Georgia, including ornamental selections sold as Japanese bloodgrass or red barren grass, available online from out-of-state nurseries. The majority of Georgia's Cogon grass infestations appear to result from normal land management activities, using equipment or soil, mulch, or other materials that were contaminated with Cogon grass seeds or rhizomes. Many Cogon grass infestations found in South Georgia are associated with timber harvest, particularly thinnings. Equipment operating between Georgia, Florida, and Alabama are at risk of moving Cogon grass seeds and rhizomes from site to site if they operate in infested areas. Cleaning equipment is a key factor in preventing spread. In Alabama, one company has instituted a program to clean their logging equipment to reduce the spread of Cogon grass on their lands. Landowners and operators are urged to inspect and clean equipment used for logging, site prep, tree planting, mowing, grading, and road maintenance. And don't forget about ATVs and equipment used to establish food plots or clear trails for hunting and recreation on your property. Monitor areas where potentially contaminated equipment has been used. It usually takes several years after the initial introduction for Cogon grass to be noticed. Be sure to ask about sources of mulch, soil, and gravel, particularly along the Georgia-Florida and Georgia-Alabama borders where contractors work across state lines. This is a typical infestation in a slash pine stand that was thinned 3 years ago. Note the distinctive circular infestation that is readily noticeable after the stand was prescribed burned in late winter, and the yellow-green color of the leaves. Even though Cogon grass burns completely up in the fire, it sprouts within a week or two after the burn, making it easy to find infestations in wooded stands. Cogon grass burns hotter than native vegetation and poses fire risks to forests and other vegetation, as well as hazards to firefighters and the general public from the intensity of the fires and the smoke that can be produced. When using prescribed fire in areas where Cogongrass occurs, it is imperative that any infestation be identified during the planning process for the prescribed burn. Even normally low-intensity firing techniques using backing fires can result in extreme flame heights and fire intensities that can damage trees and pose risk to practitioners. Increasingly, homeowners in forested areas are placed at risk by Cogongrass-fueled wildfires and smoke, creating public safety and property loss concerns. Cogongrass poses costly issues for highway and rights-of-way managers because of its rapid growth, difficulty in mowing, and elimination of more manageable roadside species. Georgia landowners benefit from an innovative control program conducted by the Georgia Forestry Commission with support from the U.S. Forest Service. Any Cogongrass infestations found in the state at this time will be treated by the Forestry Commission at no cost to the landowner. This is a great deal for Georgians as the time and cost of controlling Cogongrass quickly adds up. A Georgia Forestry Commission forester will inspect the site and work with the landowner to develop a comprehensive eradication program using herbicide treatments. A 5-year plan will be developed to ensure complete eradication is achieved. Cogongrass's extensive root system makes it difficult to control once established. Use of fire and mowing alone are ineffective in controlling Cogongrass. In fact, infrequent disturbance by mowing, disking, and burning will actually increase the rate of spread of individual infestations. To date, the most effective treatment is with the soil-active herbicide imazapyr. In cases when the soil-active herbicide could damage desirable overstory trees and other plants that might have roots still extending into the treatment area, glyphosate may be used, but is less effective. Any successful treatment program requires annual inspection and retreatments until the infestation is eradicated. Here, infestations are being treated with a mix of imazapyr, glyphosate, and methylated seed oil. This treatment can be broadcast beneath the trees at rates which will not damage the pines. Note that there are no other herbaceous plants in the infestations. Cogongrass effectively eliminates other plants because of the Cogongrass's large root system and the allelopathic effects of the roots themselves. The entire infestation is sprayed as well as a buffer around the patch to control underground rhizomes that have not yet produced above-ground shoots. In other instances, Cogongrass will be found in ditches, road embankments, and field borders, and these herbicides may be applied alone or in mixes as the situation requires. The state of Georgia has made a serious commitment to eradicate Cogongrass. With support from the U.S. Forest Service, the Georgia Forestry Commission has created a statewide Cogongrass cooperative weed management area, involving 23 state partners who have made the commitment to work together to locate and control Cogongrass throughout the state. Please support this effort by reporting any suspected Cogongrass infestations to your local Georgia Forestry Commission or Extension Office, or call 1-800-GA-TREES.